All right, thank you for a kind introduction here. So welcome everybody. I know this is the last presentation, so please don't go before. Yeah, so I'm so excited today is our recent projects and research presentation. This is also very unique because I'm the person in the lab. We are really looking for like analytical solution. We enjoy the closed form equation from the 1920 and 1980, all this one. But this is a very practical and there are a lot of challenges. So this is my unique project in my life here. So it's very practical. And then it's probably this one is the focus on maybe audience who is a stakeholder or some of the industry or professor or faculty who collaborate with or work with the stakeholder or stage that it's maybe good information I would like to share. So first, I would like to acknowledge all my graduate students and their amazing job, Ernie, Daphne over there, and also my postdoc, Dr. Gang as well. They have a tremendous research and time for this one, so they deserve the whole full credit. So that's the first one, and here. So I have a 33 topic here. It's the three content here: state system and post-processing and image processing. So basically, we have 3-1 here. But today, probably, I spent many time, and previously, many times we published in terms of introduce our new technology, which is our bridge inspection and over the Texas area. We introduced many times, so I maybe briefly introduce the system, but we always discuss in detail if you have a question at the end of the presentation. But we more focus because our topic here, the section, so we focus more post-processing and image processing as well. So background here is that as you know that our United States has a lot of old bridge here, especially 50% of the more than 50% of funding goes to the entire bridge, goes to the bridge debt. There's a lot of issues that if you look at it, not just because of structure problem, is always have a driving safety. So like a pothole here. So and then challenges that a lot of the times we have delamination, which is caused by the corrosion that also have a lot of vertical crack, longitudinal crack here. So there are a couple of challenges here. Three challenges here. One is that I borrowed from the John Popovich, my friend. And he's it's really good here. So if you have a visual cycle, if you look at the corrosion has extended and there's a crack and it's all help each other like a marble build on here. They help each other. This is all anatomy here. There are a lot of complicated. So especially our case is longitudinal crack and traverse crack, and then delamination and corrosion. So at the same time, if you look at the today Dallas area, it's a huge, a lot of a bridge here, highway bridge. Sometimes a 3-layer, 4-layer, a lot of bridge here. If you look at the bridge, entire bridge here, very time-consuming, impossible, and then you cannot actually close lane. If you rush hour, even there's a critical corridor. If you know familiar the language, the transportation, a lot of the problem here. So we cannot close lane at all. Sometimes it's very difficult to investigate or do here. So. And also, that's why the following challenges. We have a lot of technology here, impact echo GPR. Of course, there's a truck-mounted GPR here. These are great. We like here. We also have a mirror and up here. But the problem is one entity cannot solve the problem, and then there's also limitation. And especially, I like impact echo, very single impacting. It's pretty good. It's finding delamination, but it's very slow. And then there are a lot of advanced technology as well, but still limited. So 15 years ago, working with John, Dr. Popovich, I drew this figure, and then we should develop something like a non-contact, without closed lane. Something I wish I could develop this one, like my vision 15 years ago. So that is my motivation 15 years ago, and 20 years entity experience. So that's why we develop and study lots of time. It's very trying like a SpaceX, they fail many times. We do many times, of course. Very, very challenging. So finally, I mean, we have like NDT or GPR, all the commercial equipment here, but the focus in here that we are generating high speed, and so we talk about that's the equipment first, and then we can do if you are familiar with the TCP, that's very important. We are doing mobile TCP, which means we're not close to highway, just keep going to doing stage, not stationary, because stage is not allowed here sometimes. It's very important to do it, so that is very important. And also we have to be even better than manual impacting, close to even better resolution accuracy. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about NDT, like impact technical, like surface wave, and we are doing here. But we need something issue with the generating in high resolution. So not going to give detail right here. Basically, we do have we call the ACE, our system. So I like this name. So if you like play tennis, so that here our ACE system has double-side impacting. There are multi-impacting and excitation and multi-non-contact sensor, and then we have automatically adjust the high system. So when you go to lamp out, we go rescanning. We also have adjustable height here system, and we have a multiple sensor and impacting, and also we have, of course, we have other GPR system as well, but we focus on our mechanical wave excitation. So we also have a GPR and then GPS, also have high resolution encoder, so we have to synchronize our stream data as well. So we're not going to really detail over here. If you have a question, you just let me know later. We can go over detail. But one of the unique designs, so we try to many times like auto impacting system or rolling or chain drag. A lot of time here, but none of this is really perfect for this one, because sometimes the resonance is not. We need to remember here there's really good consistency, and then have a very high amplitude enough, and then also possible pulse repetition time means there how many pulses you can excite. So that what the unique design here is that we call the double side bounce impacting. So one side impacting, and then we have a huge bounce force. Coming back to here, we switch the high performance motor, because DC motor or AC motor, they cannot actually generating high pulse repetition. So we do this one is actually higher than our ultrasonic system. It's better than here, and it is consistent. Of course, this is high impacting, so that we can generating mechanical wave through the at least 4 meter, 5 meter penetrating. So that's the kind of a benefit, and very consistent. I'm not going to give you a lot of, we have a laboratory verification, and depending on height and surface condition, we already verified it here, but we do not have it, but I would like to discuss later. So we have just height, and then we have some patterns, and then couple of paper. I'll give you some demo here, which is very slow, because my students to slow down because I'm recording. But this is kind of system, of course not going like this highway. So we do have a system highway here. We inspect without closed lanes. That means we have a mobile TCP. So we have a travel attenuator following for protecting just in case. But we do have a 10 to 40 miles per hour with speed, which is a 60 kilometer more maximum. And we operating from the scanning entire bridge long length within 60 seconds. Sometimes more than that, but quickly do that. We do over and over. We're scanning many times. Go exit and go exit here. So we have a lot of vision that we can manage we actually manage all the here for towards Dallas area. If you look at the highway, we scan. So, but there are a lot of challenges here. So we do have a lot of developed a system, and we have a stream data. Stream data means that we are collecting data and the saving, and concurrently. This is a lot of the process, compared to the way we do the laboratory. I do many times trigger and collect the data, and then but we have a megabyte, a gigabyte, a terabyte. It's a huge data control. So then we have a lot of challenge when we do that in the laboratory testing. It's a very good match, and then here, if you do large scale testing, yes, good. If you go to the field testing, in the bridge deck, and then we have more challenge when you do the walking speed. it's more challenging. With the highway speed, it's way more. It's a lot of noise because there's a lot of processing here that we're challenging that a lot of massive data due to the we have a entire bridge. Imagine that we have a lot of data and then multiple excitation, and then although we have proved that with a very good time, like impact excitation time, it's not good sometimes because very bad condition of the load side and in different amplitude and unnecessary noise. So we have to do like a signal excitation filtering, which is that we are doing lots of effort to doing that. Basically here is that we do square root and signal that reduce the high signal noise ratio. We do the gradually decrease the window before we do that. So one of the benefits here is that we overlapping all the signal with the worst case scenario, the bad side, bad case, like surface condition and bad condition. We need to narrow down based on the average of the time signal amplitude so that before we do the Bayesian criteria information or other threshold extraction. So we do after the processing here, we can, I can't have to double click always, but we can select and we can check the signal. But there's another key important here. When you do that, we have to battle many times for stream data because they are latency. So we even if you develop optimized coding at a high speed, we have a lot of latency sometimes, so we have a lot of effort. At the same time, when you do that multi-channel DAQ TVCI Express, we need to synchronize each one because this stream data has different latency that we need sharing at least one excitation signal that we can synchronize, and also the vehicle speed is different, so we have to also refine and our metrics based on our encoder data speed. So our metrics is located correctly, and also we do lots of selective window and average and criteria. So once we have a lot of effort to post-processing, we have I guess the average per year, 2 year, have more than 20 bridges, which is unusual. Normally when we have a project, 1 or 2 bridges, but it's really kind of intensive. That's what we're liking because we can scan. So we can show the among the lots of bridge inspection, we can give you some sample that, for example, it's a couple of bridges here. So is that too fast for me? It's okay. It's okay. So when we do that, so we have 3 different deterioration we're looking for. One is delamination, and then the other is surface crack and the corrosion. So if you look at the delamination, basically it's based on the impact echo here. Then we can looking at the fracture mode, but in the field area that we have a lot of different try to imaging the impact of the data. But when you look at the different road condition, for example, like this one is 2 delamination, their energy is different because they're root conditions. So we found there are a lot of try and different signal processing, and then we found that if you have regardless of delamination or not, if there is a surface condition or their location, we see the first peak, which is surface wave, is normally similar. So we normalize that here so we can provide some in situ the delamination map based on here. So we do some normalize, we calculate all this energy in between the 1 to the 4 kilohertz area that we're processing here. Then we can create all the entire bridge length here. So when we have successfully developed the system and post-processing, we thought it's really easy that we're here, but there's a lot of challenges. So because we have we scan the one time, go back in lamp, exit the lamp, and then we go back to rescan. We thought we can easily kind of match with the millions point here, but it's not, because that's why we have a good motivation actually go back to the post-processing, how do we extract the signal, these millions of points, because it's a huge and a lot of effort to here. So finally, we have matched the signal that, because it's very unusual, because very difficult to, normally entire scanning can be 24-hour or 1 day or 2 day, while we do 60 seconds, so we can go over here, the scanning, rescanning, so we validate here. Many times the entity image, we never validating here, so it's very difficult to kind of here. So we have to really show every time every repeatable data. And then we scan regularly, sometimes every year, that we can see that like a new delamination coming. This is really unique. They're very fast deteriorating here. Many times we accelerate and see also here too. For example, this is a very interesting breach. So after the couple of times we scanning, and then we also communicate with the stakeholder, DOT, and then also their subcontract to repair here. So when you're repairing, sometimes we can definitely see the cracks growing and delamination is growing. But when you look at this one after the patch, you can see that delamination is gone, which is over and over. We can see that we can verify the subcontract quality. But sometimes if you look at this correctly matching here, but I'm talking about the green color. If you look at the red color, which is after the patch, their new repair, as even growing actually. So that because maybe we have to looking at here, but maybe needed a cathodic protection or sacrifice anode, or we can do different way. But after the patch, there have a lot of even worse in here. So this is a kind of a good opportunity. Actually, we validate. Also, we're looking at the quality of the repair that we do, of course, and then we can see the entire bridge. We can see that. And not only that, when we communicate with the stakeholder and the engineer, sometimes we need to prioritize depending on the budget or location. So we try to do called the damage index, which is like a Lego block or Minecraft, which is my son's favorite game. So it's kind of we can looking at where is actually the spot we need to prioritize the repair. So we actually provide depending on the size, intensity. We do the corrosion and the surface crack as well. So this is a high resolution image. So we also provide those kind of damage indexes so they can prioritize the repair area so that we can see some of the growing here. We also have we actually not let me clarify that. We are not corrosion detecting here GPR because it's a really, although we have LPR, half cell, and all the resistivity and as well, but we do GPR like a normal procedure that many people do it. So if you have a corrosion, the rebar has a damage, so we have a different reflecting. So we use the same way here so that we can show some corroded rebar case here, of course. And also interesting here is many times you can see that corrosion and the delamination area is matched here. Of course, and sometimes not matched here. For example, those area, it maybe have later has a corrode, maybe delamination, maybe their corrosion, so maybe they have a delamination later, have extended the crack. And here too. So the last one here is that our surface crack detection is basically very simple. This attenuation, so they're losing we have a multiple signal sensor, non-contact sensor, so we can detect the energy attenuation. And sometimes we also have this is my enjoyable analytical solution for looking at the internal case. Not for mostly case of the bridge deck, but there are sometimes asphalt overlay case, especially I have a DFW airport inspection as well, but there's sometimes they're looking at the deflected crack from the bottom, so we actually use this model for estimate the crack length as that side. And we prove here. I just wanted to look at the briefly here. So this is one of the important here that if you remember the second page of the vicious cycle like a Marvel villain. So we can see that the red color is that the common area, corrosion, surface crack, and then delamination. Definitely we can see many times our historical data, we can see that accelerate this area, although sometimes we can see that different location here. So we also have a damage index. So speaking of that, we also combining all the corrosion and has showed another damage index here. And this is ongoing project. So we also have a lot of data, which is like for me like academic interest. So there are a lot of different acceleration times. So we don't know how much they're accelerating and depending on like a human. If you have a tumor, we don't know what's the like cancer stage. So we have to looking at all the data and then testing here. And then I cannot really give you details our phototherapy, but safe, of course. And then we can prioritize all the system, and we have a lot of different demolition plan and repair plan as well. I don't want to go into detail here, the imaging software here. We also sometimes have some mirror, but we cannot do the mobile TCP, so we cannot do it. So the conclusion is we still have a lot of homework for the post-processing for increasing accuracy, but many times there, common area has the bonding, has the acceleration, deterioration. We definitely have a lot of data to research that. So anyway, thank you so much for today, and then I recognize the people, my graduate students recognize and tech staff here, and thank you.